Hey, not so fast, baseball fans. Okay, especially you Brave fans. Let's hold up. Let's take a walk down memory lane. Way back when, in the galaxy far, far away, called 2021, when the Braves started 0-4. What happened then? That's right. By midseason, they were still below 500. So Alex Anthopoulos blew it up. Wrong. No. Acuna was out by the All Star break. They still weren't at 500 by August. And then what did Anthopoulos do at the end of July? He went and got Jock Peterson. He went and got Eddie Rosario. He went and got Jorge Soler. The Braves starting 0-7 is not the end of the world. Yes, the duality of fan is, why do we even play this season? This season is lost. Oh, it's already been 10 days and my team is still below 500. Let's just throw this out the window and start over next year. But then the other part of you, deep, deep down inside the recesses of your fandom say, we still got this. And guess what, Brave fans? The Braves still got this. The Braves are 0-7. Yes, their offense looks atrocious. It's awful. Outside of Ozuna and Olsen, there's no telling where offense is going to come from. Even Austin Riley is moaning and groaning about the offense, and he's even taking accountability for his 3 for 1 million start at the plate. But let's not lose hope. Let's not lose hope. Okay? You got Strider coming back by the middle of the month. You got Sean Murphy coming back by the middle of the month. And you got Acuna coming back the first part of May. There was baseball galore to be played in Atlanta. And there's plenty of opportunity for them to win the NL East. Not just make the wild card, but win the NL East. So let's chill. Let's, in the words of Andy Bernard, take a chill pill and let's relax. Let's enjoy the rest of this season. And let's enjoy tonight as your favorite pod, Box Scores and Bourbon, like the Braves, tomahawk chops down this beast. All right, Manny, before we start, cheers, my man.
I'm ready. Cheers. Clink. Clink.
Yeah, there's a lot of this talk about the Braves being 0-7 is like, and I get, look, it sucks, and it sucks to be up 5-0 on the Dodgers,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, that was a rough one.
gives up. I mean, he threw it in Otani's sweet spot, which is really anything near the plate,
Yeah.
and he demolished it on of all nights. Otani's bobblehead night. I wanted someone to toss Otani a bobblehead and have Otani run around with the bobblehead.
That would have been awesome. Wait. We're over here acting happy about anything that happens to the Dodgers. We need to check ourselves. We don't like the Dodgers.
Like,
We can't cheer for the Dodgers.
Down. Okay, we cannot
Calm
like the
down.
Dodgers and still recognize the second coming of the 1933 Yankees that we have right in front of us. Okay, let's just
Don't you
call
dare.
a spade.
Don't
Okay,
you
let's move
dare
on.
put the Yankees in
Let's
that.
move on with dignity here. Okay, all right.
Fine.
So
Fine.
now that we've
Fine.
gotten past that, the Braves are fine. They're 0-7, yes, but it's what? It's April 3rd. It's April 3rd. We have so much time left. So
The
much
sky is
time.
falling.
The sky is falling.
There's so. I feel like we talked about this last year. I feel like we talk about this every year when a team goes on a little bit of a losing streak. I don't think we've talked about a team starting on a losing streak of 0-6 or 0-7, but we talk about this all season long. Between now and September, we'll probably talk about 12 other teams that have a 10-day mark where they just lose every game that comes in front of them. It's a long season.
Look,
If you win the rest of your games, you
Yeah.
would still break a record for the most wins in a year. Come on, calm down. You'll be fine.
yeah. And like historically, there's something to be said. Every 0-7 team that is every MLB team that started 0-7 has not made the playoffs. Only one of them actually finished at 500, and I think that was 42 years ago. So, or if I read that correctly, but this is a team constructed by a man who is not afraid to gamble. This is a team constructed by a man who if you're a Braves fan, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to. You have to
Yeah.
look at him and call him Mrs. Doubtfire because you're giving him all the benefit. And just live your life. Live your life
Yeah.
on.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the point that I wanted to make too. Like, uh, the Braves right now are probably at the worst that they're going to be all year long. They're only going to get better as the season progresses. For the main reason being that they're going to get some of their great players back by when the season's really in full effect, which is probably what end of
Yeah.
May, June, when we're really full steam
Hmm.
ahead with the season. That's when they'll start getting their players back, and you'll
Yeah.
be able to see what the Braves will actually going to look like for the year. Now, if we're talking about the Braves looking rough in July, after they've already had the time to settle in with their new players, then we can have a conversation about what is going on with that organization. But as of right now,
Yeah, but
they're
what's
only
rough
going to
though?
get better.
What's rough though? Because in 2021, the year they won the World Series, they weren't even at. They didn't even break the 500 plane until August 6th. That was
Well,
the
yeah.
first time that they broke the 500 plane all season. And then
It.
they went had like two 12-game winning streaks.
Hmm.
And one of them was at the end of the season where they ended up finishing with a 6.5 game lead to win the division. So
I think it'll be more of the eye test. At that point, it'll be like, okay, are you below 500, but we can see that there's like good baseball happening, or are you just rough across the board? That'll be the deciding factor. Right now, I mean, as you just said, they had the Dodgers in a corner, and the Dodgers just did a Dodger thing, which is
yeah,
have the greatest batter in most recent history. Currently, the greatest batter alive, which is Shohei Ohtani. They have the Shohei Ohtani key that just kind of stole that win from them. They were in a perfect position. If they could continue to be in this type of positions with a great team like the Dodgers, if they can keep having teams like that, they'll find ways to kind of wrap up that win and not let it slip out of their hands. This isn't going to be a fifth inning all year long for the Braves. And when I
yeah.
say the fifth inning, you know what I mean as far as a major.
The whole world knows what the fifth inning is. We all know what it is.
This isn't that. This isn't going to be a year full of fifth innings for the Braves. As
They
much as I
were
don't
they were
necessarily have
babies
any
coming
kind
out of the
of.
birth canal during that fifth inning, and even they know what you mean by fifth inning. That's their first
Exactly.
word, fifth inning. That's it. They know. They know
That's
what
why
it
they
is.
cried.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah,
babies born
yeah. It wasn't
crying
the
on that.
home birth in the kiddie pool. No, it was the fifth inning. That was the first thing they saw. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
But on the other side, let's give some credit where credit is due, which is on the Dodgers, which unless I missed a game today, as of yesterday, they were still undefeated.
they're 8-0. They have an
Yep.
off day today. They don't play till tomorrow.
Hmm.
So yeah,
They look good.
it's a light slate today. It's a very light slate. There's a lot of there's one, two, three, four. Yeah, there's two games today. Two. So
Well, we're in
um,
we're in April, but either way, my point being, as the current Dodgers, the status of the Dodgers, how they look currently, looks very like a well-oiled machine. Even again, like the game that we were just talking about, finding a way to dig yourself out of a 5-0, 6-0 run deficit and still finding a way to win it, it's
yeah,
pretty impressive. To keep
yeah,
your undefeated streak going, I don't know. I mean, I'm not expecting them to make some miraculous, unheard of winning streak uh, in the near future, but it'll be it'll be a hard fought game whenever they do end up finally losing a game. I'm not saying it's gonna be like all April they'll go undefeated or anything like
hmm
that,
yeah,
but a team will have to be on their A game to finally get them off their
yeah,
win or their lossless streak.
yeah. Yeah, the 5 games today. I'm looking at it right now. 5 games. Three have already finished. Um, Out of the 3 games that were played, Boston, Baltimore, the Rockies and Phillies, Astros and Twins. Only one of those teams has a winning record. That's the Phillies. And we can talk about the Yankees. All that talk using torpedo bats. They're
Oh
three and
yes,
two. Like, what do we? Why are we? Why? Because they hit 9 homers in one game, three
because they
hundred
started
straight
3-0.
pitches. So it's, you know, I think this is like I said, duality of fan. Okay, you can come in to April 3rd. You can wake up tomorrow, Friday, April 4th, a week after baseball season actually started
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, this is fine. The Cubs are 5-4 after their first 9 games, and you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. That's fine with me. 5-4. What? Above 500?
Above
We're in the World
500. There you
Series.
go.
Okay, we are World Series bound. But
We are right on track. We are exactly where we wanted to be as Yankees fans and as Cubs fans. We are exactly where we
yeah,
wanted our teams to be, which is above 500 and playing competent baseball.
yeah. So everyone just needs to take a step back and breathe. But I do want to talk about the Yankees. I want to talk about all this nonsense about the torpedo bats, and it's nonsense because weren't
How
players using
dare
them
you? How
already?
dare you? The Yankees have been caught red-handed and they're cheating their way to wins. How dare you?
Yeah, well, look, not everyone plays with deflated balls, okay? And I'm not talking about when Giselle left Tom. We all know
Whoa.
what we're talking about. Look, everyone, like needs to just chill with the torpedo bat thing. The Yankees are not the first to use it. Yeah, the Yankees were the first to make a big make a loud noise with it. They definitely made a crack. Okay, I mean, because you hit 9 jacks. It's like, okay, good job, Lenny. Good job, physicists on the payroll. Awesome. So everyone just needs to take a step back. They're 3-2. A reminder: this is a public message to all you baseball fans. A reminder to you: Aaron Boone is still the manager of the New York Yankees. Do not, do not buy into anything that seems like it's going to go above and beyond what you might think it could become. Because Aaron Boone is still the manager of the Yankees.
They,
Let's not lose sight of this.
that's true. And the Yankees are more of the fans of really letting things get go haywire. And October is when we really like to drop games and
Yeah.
really start messing things up. So don't get too excited about what's going on right now. Don't get disheartened. Don't get excited. Here's my thing about the torpedo bats. Like the principle of a baseball bat, like imagining a baseball bat and this torpedo thing, for it to be efficient, I don't understand why people are losing their marbles about it. For that kind of bat to be efficient, you have to have a player that like 99% of the time hits the ball in the exact same spot, which is where the bulge of that torpedo bat is. That is not going to be for everybody. And even that alone, that's such a you have to have such a consistency factor when it comes to your batting for it to really make an impact. Now, if you are consistent and you know that every time you're hitting the ball in the exact same spot, then that's going to make a big difference. But if you're reaching for some of these outside pitches and you have that narrow side of your bat, you're more than likely going to end up having worse stats than with a normal bat because of just the construct of the bat. So I personally don't understand what the big issue is with the whole torpedo bat because it's not a magical bat. It's not like, oh, this shape is some aerodynamic shape of the bat that's adding 10 mile per hour exit velocity to the ball. It's nothing like that. It's just the heavier part of the bat is adding more contact on the player that's consistently hitting it on that what 2, 3, 4 inch space. That's
Mhm.
really what we're having an issue with. A 4 inch space that he may or may not hit it on a
Yeah.
regular basis. That's it. That's how what it to me that's what it breaks down to.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're a competent hitter, if you know how to use these bats, if you know where the sweet spot is, and it really comes down to you swinging at your pitch. If you can get a hold
Hmm.
of your pitch, yes, great, fantastic. That's what's going to happen. Um, left-handed hitters always seem to have a knack to be able to step outside of the box to slap it to the opposite field. Um,
Hmm.
but so if you're a power hitter like Aaron Judge, and you have a sweet spot, yeah, I mean you're gonna be able to crush it. So, but
Yeah.
go ahead, one more.
No, I was gonna say the only other thing was that I hated how the was the Brewers pitcher that was kind of was like in the center of when the Yankees caught all the torpedo attention. The fact that he came out and I'm blanking on his name, he came out and started whining about the fact that he didn't like that the torpedo bat was allowed in baseball because it seemed like a cheap out for them
Mm,
to be able to manipulate the bat. Like give me a break. That was not why the Brewers got blown out in that game.
yeah, no. I want to get to the schedule this weekend before we move on. I want to get to. So let's go back to the Braves real quick. If you're a Braves fan in your mom's basement eating tacos, trying to figure out how to get this smell out, okay, panic no more. Other than trying to get the smell out because taco smell it settles. You're done. Just pay your mom the 1,000 to get the Stanley Steamer. There are two matchups. If you're a Brave fan, that I want to point you to. One is those 5-1 Phillies will be
Mm-hmm.
hosting the 8-0 Dodgers this weekend. That's a 3-game slate. It's in Citizens Bank, but the Dodgers are still 8-0, and they're 8-0 for a reason. So if you're a Brave fan, you're counting, okay, maybe not a sweep, but maybe the Phillies can drop 2 of 3. And if you're a Brave fan, hey, that 4-3 Marlin team is coming home to Truist. So there you go. There's an opportunity to have a 2-game swing, okay? And Atlanta's expected win-loss record is not 0-7. It is 1-6. So not everything is gloom and doom. But if you're a Brave fan clinging to the schedule this weekend on the weekend of April 4th, okay, I know we're so close to October. I know. We got to get squared away now.
Every win matters. Every win matters right now.
You got to win every game just to be certain. If you're a Brave fan, look, Dodgers are playing them. Dodgers are red hot. This is a monster of a lineup, so nothing can be taken for granted, no matter how well the Phillies have started. And if you're the Braves, it's the Marlins. Okay, so just one game at a time. One game at a time.
Let me ask you this: if you're the Braves and the Phillies are winning games at the pace they are, at what point of a gap between from like how many win differential has to be the gap for you to actually have a concern for the Braves? How big does that gap have to get before you start raising some flags? Well, again, we're in April.
10 games,
Okay.
maybe 10. I mean,
Even 10 games doesn't seem too crazy. A team can win 10 in a row.
They're 5.5 out of first right now, and they've won no games, and they're only 5.5 out. So look, let's cross that imaginary bridge when we come to it, because the Braves, you mark my words right now, the Braves at no point this season will be 10 games behind first place. It will not happen. I don't care if they're last. I don't care if they're second place. They will not be 10 games behind first place. It just won't happen.
Remind me who your pick was to win that division.
The Braves.
There you go. We're not, me too. So
Yeah.
I'm not jumping ship from that pick in April by any means. We're sitting comfortably with what that division looks like. So no worries at all. No worries for what is going on. I would even go as far as saying if it's like 15 games, that's where I would get concerned. 10 games, I would say it's not too major of a concern for me.
And it's funny because this weekend, out of the whole slate of games starting tomorrow, it's a full slate this weekend. Out of the full slate of games, there are only 3 matchups where both teams are above 500. It is the Padres at the Cubs. It is the Rays at the Rangers, and the Dodgers at Phillies. Everyone else, there was no other game where both teams have at least a winning record. None. So, again, April 3rd. It's April 3rd. Let's everybody just calm down. Calm down with the torpedo bats. Shut up about the sun. Okay?
Yeah.
Shut up about the 0-7. All right, we're fine. Everybody is fine. Okay? The Brewers were 0-4 as of 2 days ago. Now they're 2-4. Okay? With a chance to be 3-4 today. Okay? It takes one series to turn things around. So
here's how I'll wrap up this analysis. The A's and the White Sox are still in it. Until the day where those two teams are out of it, then we'll start talking about the rest of the teams and where they stand. If those two teams are in it, everybody's in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. We have a full slate, so let's get to the Final Four.
Oh, okay? That's right.
Let's talk about the Final Four. All right. We got a lot a lot of Auburn fans who are freaking out. Okay, let's just say they're freaking out. And let's uh, let's talk about why. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when your best player Johnny Broomsticks is hurt, and I mean, let's face it, Auburn uh, would have had to play um, a a near perfect game this weekend um, just to be able to beat Florida. Um, Florida, I think, can play us not their best game, but I think Florida can still take Auburn. Now that now that Broom's out, I mean this is a toss up now, and not even a toss up. I think Florida's definitely got the edge here.
Mm-hmm.
Florida to me was the number fourth ranked team in the Final Four. Auburn was three. Even though I picked Auburn to win it all. Coming in this weekend, Auburn, I had it like this: Duke, Houston, Auburn, Florida. But that Auburn, Florida ranking could have swapped easily. That was before Broom was officially ruled out of
Mm-hmm.
Saturday's game. So I'm not. I don't have a lot of. I'm not saying um, Mazzara and Pettiford. I'm not saying that they won't be able to produce. It's still Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl is one of the greatest offensive minds in in basketball. So that it's not out of the out of probability that Bruce Pearl could figure this out and Auburn can still pull out the win. Um, I just, I honestly don't see it.
I mean, the it is. I mean, when you lose your best player, it's always going to make a uh, a harder path for you to come out with the win, no matter what the matchup is. But
Mhm.
at the same time, Auburn was a number one ranked team for a reason because they showed consistency and
Yeah,
dominance all year long.
yeah,
Uh, even with whatever I don't have the record in front of me, but they had a dominant season, and that's because they a dominant team does what a dominant team does, which is finds a way to win no matter who's on the court. So,
yeah.
I mean, you're right. It will take all the other players to step up and carry a bigger load, but at the end of the day, the expectation is that you're a number one seeded team for a reason, and we
Hmm.
expect you to still play that part as a number one team instead of cowering because you lose your number one player. If you lose your number one player and somehow you let that affect how you're going to be playing, then at the end of the day, you didn't deserve to be the number one seed because the number one seed is a team thing. It's not based off of an individual player. So I mean, you're like I said, you are right that it's going to be a little bit of a harder path for them, but at the end, they should still be competitive. There's nothing that says that Florida should run away with this matchup. They should still put up a good fight, and they should still be able to push it to the last 5 minutes or whatever it be, and stay in that game the entire time. There's nothing that stops them from being able to pull away with the win at the end of the day for me.
Hmm. Yeah. No, and look, the last time that was February, Florida beat Auburn. That was with Broom on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was a full squad Auburn had. Florida still walked away with that game. Um, Clayton Jr. Um, is uh, uh, is an absolute monster of a player. And Todd Golden's not wrong when he says that there could be no better player. Um, there could be no one player in this in the tournament that you would want in a big moment than Walter Clayton. And so and this is not to discount Cooper Flag, but we have to remember Cooper Flag's not the only player left in the Final Four. There's a reason why I think when 1972 was the last time the Final Four had all four number one seeds in it.
No, I think it was more recent than that. I feel like it was early 2000s, 2007, 2008. I saw some weird like parody in the matchups where it was the location was the same, the final four date landed on the same, and it was like 2007, 2008 when the last four number one seeds made it to the final four. I think I want if
Okay.
my memory serves me right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I'm picking Florida to win this game. Picking Florida.
JB, I'm over here being the optimist, trying to give Auburn hope, and you're telling me there's like you're squashing it all down, and you're saying
I
there's
mean, look,
always lost.
nothing against Auburn, but look, I mean, Broom is like he's a fantastic player. Mazzara is probably I, Mazzara can you could do a coin flip either Broom and Mazzara, but Broom has single-handedly carried this team through halves throughout the entire tournament. Mazzara's been there absolutely. I mean, he's still there, and he's going to be the one that's going to take. The game's going to be on his shoulders come Saturday. But I'm not going to sit there and pretend. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not in the game of playing pretend. Last time I played pretend, I let my 11-year-old cousin put a wig on me, and we had a tea party. I was 12. Okay, it's the last time I played pretend. I live in the real world. In the real world, I have hopes and dreams. Yes, MLK come up here and said, I had a dream Auburn was going to win. And he would say, but even still, I think Florida's top. So I'm not. So let's
Give it to me then. If you had to give a percentage of a chance that Auburn can pull off the win, give them a percentage of a chance.
It's a 50-50 game.
Okay. 50-50. So you're not completely lost. You haven't completely lost hope on
because Mazzara's still out there, Pettiford's still out there. Bruce Pearl's still the head coach of Auburn.
Yes.
I'm not like Bruce Pearl. Like I've already said, is one of the greatest offensive minds in basketball. So I'm not going to discount what he can do.
Okay.
But he was doing everything he was doing because Broom was on the court.
Right.
So
I mean, just the way that you were putting it just made me see it. You were making it seem like you didn't believe Auburn had a chance.
And the last time Florida played Auburn, I believe Auburn was at full strength, and Florida still pulled it out easily.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're not giving Auburn a chance. You're giving me conflicting information.
It's 50 shot. It's
50-50. I'm just saying your percentage that you're giving me is not matching up with the words that you're using to describe their matchups and the loss of.
You can have a probability.
Okay.
It's 50-50. My sons will go to college. Do I think they will? No, I don't. It's 50-50 though. It's a coin toss. All right? It's a coin toss.
I don't think you understand how this probability thing works. Everything in life has a 50-50 shot of happening. But the chances of it happening is completely different. You are right. Everything has a 50-50 shot of winning.
It's all possible. They still have a probability. Okay? The probability is 50%.
I don't like your math. Not a big fan of how you're operating with your math.
Here's the thing. Even going into this weekend, before the news broke that Broom was out for Saturday's matchup, I was still like, maybe 55% chance Auburn can do it. But I think Florida could still play, like they can make mistakes, play a near perfect game, still come on top. Auburn would have to be the one to play like their most sound game that they played so far.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with Broom in the equation.
Okay. I mean, again, like I said, everything you're telling me is saying Auburn has no chance. But you're saying 50-50, so we'll ride with that, and then we'll jump to the other side of the Final Four.
All right, Duke and Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, Duke is your pick.
Duke is my pick.
Yeah.
Duke has looked very good. I am very
good.
I mean, I picked a number 1 seed to win the national championship. It's not that impressive of a thing to happen, but the way that they are playing and the way that they've been, in my opinion, cruising to the Final Four is impressive because they've showed dominance every single game that they played. Have they had closer than a 5-point game? I don't memorize the final scores, but I feel like they haven't had much of a close game. If it wasn't for like last second like point differentials baskets at the end of the regulation time, but besides the final score, when you watch a Duke game during this tournament, they have regularly shown that they are the best team in the tournament. So, I mean, like I said, it's not that impressive of a take to pick a number one seed to win it all, but just the way that they're going about it is impressive to be able to see it happening. Because they there was ample opportunities because of the way that March Madness goes that the team could have pulled up and caught them on a bad day and upset them or pushed them to the brink and had them get lucky. But that hasn't happened. They haven't had a slip up. They haven't let the moment be too big for them, and they've consistently played the type of basketball that they've been playing all year. They haven't wavered from what they've been good at all year, and they've been consistently showing dominance on the court. That's why I am impressed and proud of my pick because they didn't falter and because they didn't steer away from what they've been doing all year long.
Yeah, no, and yeah, you were right. The last time all four number one seeds made it was 2008. It was the only other time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um.
What about you? What who you are you riding with Duke?
Whew. Yeah, I'm riding with Duke. And it really goes back to just that game they played against Alabama. Um, and Duke's such a young team too that um, they made a Nate Oates team look unplayable. I thought honestly thought that game, that Duke Alabama game, was gonna be uh, was gonna be like one of the marquee matchups of the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw what happened. And I'm like, whoa, this is this. I mean, that made me kind of, and not that I overlooked Duke at all, but that made me look at Duke in an even higher light. Like, if they can do this to Alabama,
Mm-hmm. Which
uh,
was supposed to be a sneaky pick to make the Final Four, if not the championship game. They were supposed to be like
yeah,
this, but not Cinderella story because they were ranked pretty high, but they were supposed
yeah,
to be a team that was going to
yeah,
be making some
yeah,
noise deep into the tournament.
yeah. And
They,
it's easy for me to pick Duke because let's face it, Tennessee volunteered to give the game to Houston. I mean, that's really what happened. That's why they're the volunteers. They say, Houston, here you go. We volunteer the victory to you. And that was a god awful game. That was so bad. That was unwatchable, and I watched the entire thing, but it was
I don't know
unwatchable.
why if it's unwatchable, you shouldn't be watching.
Well, I mean,
So Duke won 65-85 against Alabama, and then 93-100 versus Arizona, and 66-89 against Baylor, and then the first round they demolished St. Mary's at 49-93. So they haven't had a close game. But with that score differential, I'm going to take it more of a step back into the overall. Have you been underwhelmed with the level of competition that the tournament has had this year?
yeah.
To I have. I was gonna say I have. There wasn't. We
It
all
took
live for.
it took until the round of 32 to have a buzzer beater.
Hmm.
Like I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts.
And we didn't have a Cinder. Everybody lives for a Cinderella story. We didn't really have that kind of Cinderella story. There wasn't like a double digit ranked team that really was making a good push to make it to like the Elite Eight. Like that wasn't there. The Elite Eight, all the games were kind of blowouts in my opinion. The competition wasn't necessarily close. So overall, it's almost like it was. I'm not saying the tournament is scripted, but if the script was going to be for the top four teams to be there,
Yeah.
this was the tournament to be looking at, be like saying, yeah, this is like how the script should have gone with the final four being the number one seeds, no double digit teams really making a push to the
Mhm.
sweet or to the Elite Eight, nothing like that. It's just been
Yeah.
a very typical tournament in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. And I look and the we talked about Auburn and if Mazzara and Pettiford and company could step up in Broom's absence. When you look at Duke, we already know how Duke can respond even when Cooper Flag is out because Con Newpel was he was an absolute revelation during the ACC tournament. Cooper Flag was hurt during the
Yep.
ACC tournament, and Con Newpel went up for what I think he averaged 21 points. So, and I mean, he's being touted as the second best prospect in the Final Four this weekend, behind, of course, Cooper Flag. So, if something happens to Cooper, I mean, John Shire already has it. He already has a game plan. If Cooper Flag somehow goes out, all right, well, Newport, you're running the floor now. This is your team, and and I think that's the advantage that Duke has is because, uh, you know, that while Auburn has to face this adversity right now in the
Mm-hmm.
biggest moments, Duke is they already did it during their conference tourney, so they're already well versed in knowing how to how what the court's going to look like if Newport is the one that's running the show. So, um, it is going to be interesting. I do have Duke beating Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and so we'll see.
What what would what would Houston have to do to have a chance to beat Duke?
What would Houston have to do?
Yeah. We didn't simply because we didn't give like too much of a thought to the overall chances for Houston. So I'm just
Mhm.
asking the question because again, Duke has looked dominant. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
torn
think
with what chance
yeah.
they do have.
I mean, when you look at the when you look at that I know they got LJ Cryer. LJ Cryer is one of the top players remaining. When you look at but Houston's makeup, I think if Uzin was it Milos? Is it pronounced Milos or Milos? It's probably Milos, but
Maybe
Milos
depends
Uzin.
on where he's from, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. He's from however I just pronounced his name. But Uzin is he's a quick moving point guard. I mean, this dude is like he's moving, he's shaking. He came from Oklahoma. He was the only transfer. I believe he was the only transfer Houston took this season, and he's been moving and shaking. He actually had that wasn't it the Sweet 16? He had that game winner against Purdue. Was that him? I think that was him who had that game winner against Purdue. So,
Hmm.
but it was. I think if Houston is going to have a chance, it's going to be Uzin being able to take advantage of the shots that he has. So if Cryer's booked up, and I believe the other guy Roberts, if they're double teamed for some reason, giving Uzan a chance to kind of drive into the paint or even just take a three, take a jump shot, whatever. If Uzan's on his game, it makes it a more challenging matchup for Duke. This may be the matchup where Duke actually has a close game. I think if there, you brought up Duke not having a close matchup. If there
Hmm.
was going to be a matchup where Duke actually had to sweat just a little bit, it's this game. It's this one. Kelvin Sampson's going to have this team ready to go. Houston's going to be ready to go.
Hmm.
And there's a reason Houston is the number one seed.
Yep.
So and you can make that case for any of the four teams. When all four are the number one seeds, there's a reason they're all number four. They're all number one seeds. There's a reason that they were seeded this high.
Yep.
And the fact that all four of them have made it to the Final Four is a testament to just how they play ball, and then also to just they took it. It doesn't, I always like people like to say, oh well, you brought up Duke. Well, they really haven't played a challenging matchup. Okay, well they didn't pick their opponents. No team gets to pick your opponent. All you can do is play the opponent in front of you, and you play them, and that's it. And depending on how you play them, will go a long way into us determining as fans how much of a shot you actually have to finish it off.
Yep.
So while Duke absolutely has the edge here, Houston has the pieces to make it interesting. And I think what Duke might run into, and John Shayer's probably got this team ready to go, but and we're already in the mindset saying, hey, we've had a pretty, let's be honest, call spade a spade. We've had a pretty easy flow and go in this tournament. Now's the time to really buckle down.
Yep.
Buckle down. Let's get ready. and because anything can happen. And I think if there was ever a moment where Duke was going to sweat, it would be this game.
For me, I think for Houston to have a chance to win this game, they have to slow down the game a lot, like a lot, and they have to control the pace of the game the entire time. I just went over the scores that Duke has had the entire tournament. Their lowest, I think, their lowest scoring game was 89 points, which is pretty high for a team. It's pretty high scoring offense that they have on the Duke side. The highest scoring game that Houston has had during the tournament was 81 points. So already they're showing the offensive capabilities of Duke is already showing itself as being more outstanding. So if they want to have a chance to win this game, I think they have to run the game that they want to instead of trying to keep up with what
Mm-hmm.
Duke is wanting to do. With
Yeah,
what Duke has been showing that they're going to do is outscore you, move the ball really fast, play a fast-paced offense, and score as many points as possible. And then they do have a really good defensive side too, where they shut down your defense. So if they're doing that, what Houston has to do is completely mirror that, run the court at their pace, and keep
mm-hmm.
it a low-scoring game the entire game, so that they can have a chance to keep that
Yeah,
close at the
yeah,
towards the buzzer, and then have a chance to
yeah,
get some possession control or win a
yeah,
couple possessions at the end to really get over the hump against Duke. It's going to be a hard task for sure. It's not
yeah.
going to be an easy task. But
Well,
like you
yeah,
said, they are the number
yeah,
one
and it's
team.
not gonna be easy for any of the four teams. But what I saw in Houston, even in that Tennessee game when Tennessee was giving the game away, even on the offensive side of the ball, Houston was taking their time.
Hmm.
They weren't trying to rush it. They understood, clock, shot clock management. They were taking their time. They were making their passes. They were running their offense. And I think Houston will. It would behoove them to do the same thing, not because you're expecting Duke to miss a bunch of shots, but because Duke is going to make a bunch of shots.
Yeah.
Duke is going to rain threes like it's a court full of Curries out there, and it's so I mean
Not the spice, right? Not the curry spice.
not the
The player.
spice. I mean Tennessee played like they had to go to the bathroom after Curry, but it was Houston's going to. It would behoove them to be able to run the same type of offensive clock management
Hmm.
against that they did against Tennessee, even though
Hmm.
Tennessee what they were just they were up by 20 most of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly my point. Houston has to make that game about how they're going to play the game instead of trying to play whatever type of game
yeah,
Duke is trying to play. They have to control
yeah,
the court how they want that game to go. If they start losing that game and they start trying to they're trying to play keep up with Duke, it's going to be a rough game. It's going to be a rough game. Even to watch as a fan, it's going to be a rough game to watch because that game, I feel like it's going to get out of hand because
yeah,
Duke's offensive powers, they have more offensive power than Houston.
yeah,
As, no disrespect to Houston as a number one seed, but Duke has a more offensive power.
yeah,
You can't let them get in their zone with what they're trying to do because you're not going to keep up.
yeah,
There will be no chance at that point.
yeah. So real quick, who do you have winning on Sunday or Monday? Who do you have winning Monday? The
Um,
Final Four. The championship game's on Monday. Who do you have?
yeah, Duke. I'm not changing my
Okay,
pick.
we talked about it. Okay, so
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I'm like, well, I already said Duke is my pick.
I'm going to stick with Auburn. And one of the things I didn't make because I said probability. One of the things, and look, I think Auburn absolutely has the toughest stretch here because not only did they have to play Michigan, they played Michigan State. Now they're going to play Florida.
Yeah.
If there's anything that Auburn has over Duke, let's say Duke is the presumed winner going, representing what the West for for the championship. If there's anything Auburn has over Duke, is that Auburn has had to be tested throughout the last few rounds of
Hmm.
this tourney. And one of the things I didn't mention, and then that I will leave on, is I still give Auburn a chance to win it all because these Auburn fans they travel well. They travel. And they make any venue a home game. They have made every single game this tourney a home game for Auburn. So they travel well. They have only gotten louder. So they will be they will be in San Antonio come Saturday in full force. They will be ready to cheer on their Tigers. And so in like I said, I picked Auburn before the tourney started. I'm sticking with Auburn to win it all.
Didn't you just tell me Florida was going to win that game?
If you asked me who I thought would win it, I said I thought Florida was probably going to win it. But I'm still going to stick with Auburn.
So you're saying
at the same time.
So you're saying if Auburn can get past Florida, they will win the championship.
Yes.
That's your okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say Duke and Florida will be in the matchup, which should be. I don't know how long what's his name from Auburn is gonna be out for. I don't know if it's gonna be a lingering injury. If they're expecting him
out for Saturday, there's nothing about Monday.
See, even I don't know. I feel like for the sake of good basketball, Florida making it would even be a better matchup for Duke, as I'm expecting and thinking that the matchup is going to be against Duke. Whoever wins on the other side, I think Florida would put up a better matchup for Duke as a whole. That being said, you want to take a minute to talk NBA?
No.
The NBA is happening. The Lakers are getting too much attention. Memphis is collapsing, and we have a whole 2 weeks
Oklahoma
before.
City finished 26-1 against the East. 26-1, and we're talking about the Lakers. I don't even want to talk NBA right now, but the world is talking about the Lakers as if they're the best team in the NBA. They're not even the best team in their own conference. This is ridiculous. It is a travesty to ignore the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'll have to say, the 2024-2025 OKC Thunder are the most in my opinion, the most disrespected, under-acknowledged team that I have ever seen be a number one seed in the NBA. And that goes to show that the NBA is more about the entertainment factor, not about the competition factor, because the Lakers tickled the number 2 seed, number 3 seed for a week, and then LeBron got hurt, and then they fell all the way down to 5th, and then that was the end of that, whatever his hype behind the Lakers was. And then here are the OKC Thunder locking up a playoff spot, locking up the number 1 seed a long time ago, from whenever everybody listens to this. And we've talked about the Lakers 99% of the time. Well, not us, but the sports world has talked about the Lakers like they are some dynasty in the making, and I just don't get it. The OKC Thunder deserve some respect, just like I acknowledged that I should have given the Cleveland Cavaliers some respect. I gave that to Cleveland. I wish that everybody else would give the same type of respect to the OKC Thunder because they have been playing good basketball. But that's where I'll leave the NBA talk because that's really all we have to say. OKC Thunder have been dominant. We already discussed how we think that's going to end, and we need to stop giving the Lakers as much attention. And this whole Golden State Warriors and Lakers, let's project where they're going to be playing in the playoffs. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we don't really think that either one of those teams is really that impactful when it comes to actually making the finals. That is my final touch on the NBA talk.
Yeah. No, look, Mark Daigneault is going to have to see. We talk about the Lakers all they want. Yeah, that's great. They're 17 and a half behind the number 1 seed. Great. Awesome. All right, you're 16 games above 500, whatever. Whoop-de-doo. You stole Doncic from the Mavs, and now you're 16 games above 500. Awesome. Great. You did well with what you had. But you're not Oklahoma City. And you know what Mark Daigneault's doing right now? He's telling the whole Thunder collective, led by SGA, who damn well better win MVP this year.
Yeah.
Led by SGA, Dort, and Chet. and he's saying, "Look, we got this. We know who we are. We are the
Mm-hmm.
best team in the NBA. The best team, hands down, no argument. We are the best team. So let's just go out there and surprise the world. This is actually, and I really don't want to talk about NBA. Thanks.
I know. That's
So
why I said 30 seconds.
I'll end on this. This is just like last year when OKC made it to what
Second round.
the second round, to the divisional round. When they made it to the second round, and the whole world was surprised by
Mm-hmm.
what OKC could do. This is the best outcome for Dagnall, is that his team is still the underdog. They
Yes.
are 64-15, and they are still the underdog. No one believes in this team. Nobody. You know who does believe in this team? Dagnall. You know who believes in Dagnall? The Thunder, who took him from Florida when he was an assistant under Billy Donovan. A long, long time ago. A long time ago. So let's, you know what? Screw it. I've already picked OKC to win it all anyway.
Yep.
So I hope this underdog theme continues. I really do. Because
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, through no fault of their own, is going to shock the basketball world when the team with the best record in the NBA wins the championship. They're like, whoa, who saw this coming? I don't know, people who watch sports.
Literally anybody that's not, what do they call the people that have like the fan obsession with like mainstream stuff? Everybody
Robert
that
Weaver.
actually watches sport, yeah. Either way, you're locking in OKC. I'm leaning towards locking in OKC. I'll check in 2 weeks whenever the season's finally wrapping up. But we're a sports podcast. We have to touch a little bit of all the
We
sports that are
do.
happening right now.
We do.
So on that note, let's talk another sport, football, because football is a 24/7, 365-day sport, and we have had a segment going that we have to revive from last week because we missed a week, but we have to talk about the teams as they build up, rebuild, or blow things up during this offseason. So let's jump right
So
into.
we will take. So let's do this. Let's take 3 minutes per division.
Okay, let's
Okay,
do it.
we do
We
it.
are going to jump right into our buy, balance, or blow it up segment for the AFC East to start things off.
Yes.
So, the division winners, the AFC runner-uppers in the Buffalo Bills, what do they need to do?
They just need to buy. And I don't mean they need to buy big, but they do. I think it would behoove them to go get one more receiver, just one more receiver. Um, as we and look, and it's it's really hard to blame the receiving core in that Chiefs loss, um, because when you have James Cook not on the field for the last offensive drive that they have, makes I still cannot get over that. I cannot get over why they kept James Cook on the side. I can't. I can't. Um, but they've already good. They've done a good job on the defensive side of the ball. They're trying to balance that out.
Mm-hmm.
I think they really, what they need is they need to buy just a, another receiver, not a number one, but just someone speedy who can catch a slant and just take off or just run a fly route.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're sitting pretty low in the first round. So I don't know. I mean, if there's a way they can get McMillan from Arizona, which I don't see that kid even leaving the top 10. But if there's a way that Brandon Bean can orchestrate something where McMillan ends up in a Bills uniform, forget about it. Forget about it.
Yep. For me, the Buffalo Bills missed the opportunity to buy Cooper Cup. I feel like he would have been a great fit for that type of offense with Josh Allen. They missed that, obviously. But that being said, I feel like they need to buy a couple more. Even though you said that they they've been trying to do a good job at balancing the defense. I feel like they still need a couple pieces on the defensive side of the ball to like the defensive end, defensive lineman kind of linebacker, like pass rushing linebacker. They need to buy a couple more pieces, whether it's through the draft or making a trade or finding some a needle in a haystack player that's a
Mhm.
free agent right now. I think that I for to me that's what they need, simply because the offenses that they're gonna be facing in the playoffs. Because at the point I'm at the point where I just look at the Bills,
Mhm.
what they need to do to beat playoff
Yeah.
teams. They need to be able to stop Mahomes
Mhm.
with his passing offense. They need to be able to stop the
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens with their running offense. So I think they should buy more into their defensive line and get something that's
Yeah.
going to be a game changer for those type of situations that they found
Mhm.
themselves into in on this previous playoff season. So
Well, I think
buy
one move that is overlooked is them getting Joey Bosa for 1 year.
They
I think
did. I
that
do like that, but I
that is an
still like. I
overlooked move.
want one more. I want at least another player. He is a good pickup. He's old. He's older on the older side. There's a reason that he was let go. He's had some injury stuff, so I want them to still build onto that. That was a good move. That was a good start for me, but I want them to buy another piece and solidify that line. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
gonna
they just
say
got Rousseau, they got Bosa, they got Ogunjobi. I feel like they did enough, and they subtracted from the worst part of their secondary. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys, for taking Kyrie Elam. They subtracted from the worst part of their secondary. They definitely strengthened that front seven. Um, we have different takes on Cooper Cup, but let's get to the second team,
that would be who finished second this year. The
Miami.
Dolphins. Oh yeah, the Miami finished.
Yeah,
It's like let's be honest, it's the Bills and then everybody else. Who cares how the rest of them land? But yeah,
yeah.
what do the Miami need to do?
Blow it up. Just blow it up. Get what you can out of a Tyreek Hill trade now. Get what you can
Hmm.
while the cheetah still has legs. Okay, just and like stop hoping for Tua to figure it out. He can't even figure out where he is right now. Stop trying to Stop hoping he's gonna figure it out. Enough. Enough of
Yeah,
this. Just blow the whole thing up. Just
yeah.
blow it up.
I I have to agree. The Tua contract is gonna linger for a long time with the Dolphins, and there's I feel like they're just stubborn enough to like ride it out. But I think they need to blow it all up. Tyreek Hill was already tweeting during the offseason that he was done with Miami and then he retracted it. When you're having that kind of dynamic where players are like uncertain about wanting to be there, that's kind of a sign that maybe you need to get a refresh with fresh blood that actually wants to be there. Like you said, trade Tyreek Hill, find a way to dump Tua's contract. As much as I laughed at you for saying that Mike McDaniel needed to go, I am on the same page as you now. Even he should be a high consideration for not making it to the next season as far as a coach for the Dolphins. So they just need to start fresh, find a culture that they want to build upon. Whatever they have now is not the culture that really is doing anything for them. So they need to blow it all up, start fresh, draft a controversial quarterback to put pressure on Tua and have at least a stable option for the future. A Sanders kind of option looks like a little sneaky move for me to like for the Dolphins to pull off in the draft if they can find a way to do that for them. So yeah, Dolphins blow everything up, get all your draft picks, and maybe as you get all your draft picks, trade all those to move up and get Sanders if that's what it takes. So yeah, blow it up.
Yep.
Next,
The
the
Jets.
Jets.
Yep. The Jets.
The the re what will we call them? The rebuilding Jets.
They're always rebuilding. You know.
So, dude, what is the considering how they are? I'm
Hmm.
leaning towards balance. Let the coach Aaron Glenn figure out what he wants in his team.
Yeah.
You brought in Justin Fields as your
Yep.
quarterback. Let him figure out if that's kind of like a good stopgap as a quarterback that kind of can
Hmm.
make sure he doesn't lose you
Yeah.
games. As you
Yeah.
may recall, I haven't been a big fan of Justin Fields. I haven't
Hmm.
even when he was with the Steelers as a starter, I wasn't too sold on how he looked. But
Hmm.
it's the opportunity for Aaron Glenn to really establish his culture and what they want to do there. They got rid of all the dead weight that Aaron Rodgers brought with him. Devontae Adams is gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Aaron Glenn looks like he's getting the opportunity to really plant his type of system in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna. It's like walking on eggshells with the Jets right now. Just let things settle down. Take your time. Let the coach kind of plant his seeds where he wants to really have things grow, and just find some balance in letting him build the team from the ground up, which is what is needed for the Jets because they have been a dumpster fire for as long as I can remember. So just find some balance. Don't make any drastic decisions with them, and just let things coast out and bring in slow pieces, young pieces that you can build upon. So I'm going to go with balance for them.
Yeah. I'm going to say just balance it out. Aaron Glenn's already said we're staying out of spotlight. We're not making any big moves. We're just going
Mm-hmm.
to see how this roster is, and then we'll make our decisions from there. Aaron Glenn is on as solid ground as you can have, and he is not rushing this. He's going to take his time. Now with the
Yes.
Patriots need to continue to buy. They just need to buy and build around Drake May. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, after today, they believe Drake May is the quarterback of the future. Joe Milton is gone. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys, again for. I have no idea what the hell they're doing, but the Patriots, um, they just need to buy. And it's just being able to bring in some pieces for Drake May, and I think that could start by I don't know, hopefully being able to draft either Travis Hunter or the best available offensive lineman
That
whenever.
would that would be quite the move if they can find a way to get Travis Hunter. Right now, he's not expected to make it past the top 3 picks. But I have to agree with you. They have to buy. I've been. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I've been on the watch on what the Patriots are doing. With since they signed Mike Vrabel, and I one of my fix of six, I think a few weeks ago at this point, was how I love the fact that they're actually spending money to bring in pieces. And
Mm-hmm.
an under the radar move that they did in the last couple of weeks was that they signed Stefan Diggs as a receiver for Drake May to really have a number one. So they continue to buy pieces. Don't stop until the
Yeah.
salary cap stops. You keep buying pieces. What you need is to buy your veteran players that can stabilize your organization, groom the younger players that you're going to eventually draft, and at least you're not going to be in the basement of your division or in the conference with that veteran presence making you competitive. And then just keep buying those veterans and to give the opportunity to those rookies and those young players to come up and learn their skills and settle into the NFL. So yeah, I think we're on the same page. I think we're on the same page on all four of our
Yeah.
picks. The Patriots being the last one that they need to keep buying.
Yeah. All right.
What's our next division? We are onto the NFC South.
Let's do South. Let's just get it over with. Blow it up.
JB,
Blow it
take
up.
it away.
Blow it up. Okay. The only team that should have any semblance, actually, is two teams. The Buccaneers should buy, and the Falcons should buy. The Falcons need to buy in order to put pieces around Michael Penix, who, let's face it, will be the starter for Atlanta next season. It's going to happen. The Saints absolutely need to blow it up. They refuse to blow it up because Mickey Loomis is there. Mickey Loomis is like, who was the villain in Speed? Who was that? Who was that goofy looking old man? I can't remember who it was. But Mickey Loomis is the villain that never blows anything up. It's just always a threat. So if any protagonist came across Mickey Loomis, they're like, I'll get to him last. And yeah, so I'm just, as long as Mickey Loomis is there, it's just gonna be a hot mess. And I can only talk about it so much. Okay, it's great that you're spending money, but this is not a playoff roster. It's not a playoff roster. It's not. It just isn't. Blow it up. Stop it with this madness. And the Panthers, who knows what the hell the Panthers are? Who knows? This is Dave Canales' second year at helm. This will be Bryce Young's third year as a starter. Um, which my God, third year, good lord. So they blow it up. Honestly, I could care less. I don't care. Okay, I can't get over the fact that the Saints are just this stupid. They are this dumb. So
You know what your Saints remind me of? I don't know if you've ever seen The Dark Knight with the Joker's like doing the what is it, the hospital scene where he's like walking out of the hospital and he's supposed to like blow everything up with his trigger and it doesn't stick and he like looks back, he like smashes his button and then he like
yeah,
it finally blows up. That's the Saints. They were supposed to have blown it up 5 minutes ago, but they're still clicking the button and it's not clicking, but they will eventually blow it up and they will get there. But right now they're still pushing the button to figure out what that blow up looks like.
yeah. Dennis Hopper. That's who Mickey Loomis is. Mickey Loomis is Dennis Hopper in Speed. Where if Sandra just does go below 55, the bus is fine because he's not going to blow it up. It's a fake bomb. It's an empty threat. Keanu's just there to make out with Sandra. So that's it. That's all it is.
Did we miss a team?
Nope.
Saints?
Buccaneers, Panthers, and Falcons.
Oh yeah, we're
Get
good.
'em
You
all.
know what you need to do? My last thing, as we close out the garbage can of a division, the Falcons need to sell Kirk Cousins. What are we doing with him
I
on
think
your roster?
doesn't Kirk Cousins have no trade clause?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe he does. But either way, why have him on your roster? Find a place where he wants to go. Why like you said, we know that Penix is going to be the starter. Week 1, he's going to be the starter. Why are you going to have Kirk Cousins there looming in the background making $25 million a year for stability's sake? You know you're not going to play him. It's the really weird situation. Even if he does have a no trade clause, if he knows he's not going to be a starter, and he's going to get traded to a team that he's going to be the starter for or compete to be the starter, I'm pretty sure he'll waive his no trade clause. So why keep him? It just makes no sense to me. But at the same time, they're in the NFC South. There's not a whole lot of pressure for you to make drastic moves to stay
Yeah,
competitive in the division because
yeah,
once again, 9-8 will probably be winning the division. So
yeah.
why
I
not?
think, and I remember why Kirk Cousins isn't traded yet. It's because Kirk Cousins allegedly would rather be cut and sign a new contract with another team and the Falcons want to get something of value while they want the other team to eat the contract. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So just trade him to Cleveland for Miles Garrett's last deal of his contract, and let's just move on.
Yeah,
Just trade to Cleveland for Deshaun Watson, and let's move on.
eat
Okay,
the contract. Yeah,
just
whatever,
move on.
whatever it takes.
Just move
Yeah,
on. Bad contract for bad contract, and let's call it a day.
give him to the Giants. The Giants will take every quarterback.
The Cowboys would take him for a third string quarterback. Yeah,
Don't you talk about
we'll
the
trade a
Cowboys like
fourth
that.
round pick. All right, let's get to the fix of six.
All right, JB, you want to go?
I'll
You ready?
go.
Take it away.
JP's fix of six, number one, the Masters. Yes, the Masters. You guys all thought no one knew about the Masters, but the Masters begin next weekend. And who do you know? Who do you think that I have as winning this? Absolutely, you know already. It's Scotty Scheffler. Okay, Rory
Oh,
McIlroy's in it. Bryson DeChambeau's in it. Ludwig Aberg is in it. There is no until Scotty Scheffler shows me that he can't win it. I'm picking with Scheffler. I'm sticking with him. I'm picking Scotty to win it all. You got Xander Schauffele. You got DeChambeau, who's the bad boy of golf. He's essentially just Happy Gilmore out there. And then you got Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy, who's just going to be there, and he's going to be looming behind Scheffler most likely. But I still got Scheffler winning this thing. JB 6-6. Number 2, the NFL Rules Committee met, and they have decided against their own better judgment, meaning they went with the option that made the most sense, is they are allowing both teams in overtime in the regular season to have the ball, regardless of if the first team scores a touchdown or not. So this will be, so this is an opportunity for both teams to get the ball at least once, no matter what happens with the first possession. Way to go, NFL. You're scaring people. You're making too much sense. JB's fixes six, number one. Credit to Kyle Corwin of the 3-0 take. But he brought up, he tweeted that, while it makes no sense and it's really just a fan and him talking, I do agree with him though. Opening day weekend of Major League Baseball doesn't feel the same if only half the teams actually have an opening day. I think what we need to do is maybe schedule opening day weekend to be, in close proximity to two parks. Maybe have everyone start at noon on Thursday. Enough with this bullcrap of having a night game. No, I don't take the day off to watch a game when I'd already be at home. All right? I want noon and I want no blackouts. And then Friday, stop having people be off on Friday. Let it be a 4-game slate. This is not what I want to talk about. I'm already upset. Let's just have noon games on Thursday and then get on a plane and then Friday have a matinee at the other ballpark. So that way at least every single team has a home game for opening day and opening day weekend. And that's JB's Fix of Six. Manny, go.
All right. Sticking with the NFL, I have two for you. On Manny's Fix of Six, number 3. Russell Wilson signed with the Giants. That is to add to the addition of Jameis Winston and Danny DeVito and whatever practice squad other quarterback they have on their roster. As a reminder, for anybody that doesn't know football, if you have 2 quarterbacks, or in the Giants' case, if you have 5 quarterbacks on your roster, you have 0 quarterbacks on your roster. That being said, with Russell Wilson signing with the Giants, I love the fact that this is leaving the Steelers with the pants down, or what was the saying, with their pants on their knees, because now they're stuck waiting, playing the game that every team for the last few years has played that wanted to sign Aaron Rodgers has been playing, which is, well, I guess we're going to wait to see when Aaron Rodgers decides that his wasta sauce or whatever cave retreat is over, and hopefully he signs with us. So Russell Wilson is a Giants, which puts the Steelers in a very awful position because now they have Aaron Rodgers or nobody, or I should say Mason Rudolph as their QB1 going into the 2025 season. So Russell Wilson, Giants, 5 quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, possibly the Steelers quarterback, but at the end of the day, neither team really has a quarterback as of right now, April 3rd of 2025. On Manny's Fix of Six, number 2, JB hinted at the owners' meetings and the rules that they have been passing. There's two controversial rules, one that passed, one that is they're kicking the can down the road. They're still considering banning the tush push. There's mixed feelings about that. I even have mixed feelings about that, mostly because it's the Eagles play, and anything that benefits the Eagles, I want to get rid of to make sure that the Cowboys stay competitive. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, because you can't beat the system or you can't beat the play, now you want to ban it. This doesn't sit too well with me, but at the same time, it is kind of a boring play to see happen. So that happened, but the more important thing that I wanted to bring up was that part of the owners' meeting is that they have now passed a rule to bring automated AI computer-generated tracking for the first line marker, putting the chain gang as a secondary option for seeing that marker or the ball. I love this for the NFL. It's a year too late. I love the fact that they're doing things based off of what the UFL is testing for them in the spring. It made no sense to me for the existence in the NFL on why we are trusting, no offense, a 70-year-old line judge running down the field trying to keep his eye on the ball and then running a crooked line to see where that ball was going to be placed. We have so much technology in this world. It is about time that the NFL started embracing it and started trusting technology to give us more accurate placement. of the balls. So I am all for computer tracked placement of the ball for first line markers. So that is Manny's number two. And on Manny's number one fix of six, I'm going to bring it back home to a very local story, which is that the UNM Lobos lost their beloved coach of Richard Pitino after he made the dumpster of a UNM Lobo basketball team relevant once again, and now he has gone to Xavier to bring in that culture that he loves to build into a well-established organization. I'm happy for Richard Pitino. He's going to be able to play his dad a few times a year, so that's going to be exciting to watch. I'm sad for the UNM Lobos. I was hoping that they were able to keep him because he was building a great program for the basketball team. He was filling the infamous pit, which is where the Lobos play. He was filling that up regularly, and he was bringing back the basketball team that the New Mexico fan base loves to cheer for. So, congratulations, Richard Pitino, on getting a promotion when it comes to programs that you can get build on. But at the same time, I am heartbroken that the Lobos were not able to keep him for another year to see what he could do in year five after he took the Lobos to the second round of the NCAA tournament and really had the game within his grasp against Michigan State. We will have to dream about what could have been with the Lobos and him as a head coach, but that is Manny's fix of six, and we are done, JB.
Yeah.
That does it for us.
Good luck to Eric Olin, who took over as head coach for Lobo basketball. Head
Yep.
coach. He was at UC San Diego for 11 years and first year of eligibility in the Big West. 30-5. So this dude will do something special there.
He will. It's not all hope is gone for the
Yeah.
Lobos, but you have
It's
to
not
cry a
lost,
little
but
bit.
when you have Donovan Dent and True Washington entering the portal, this is
Hmm.
every year. You know, we're just a junior college for the rest of the schools. That's all we are.
It's just a
So
stepping stone. It
it's
really is a
always just a
stepping
stepping
stone.
stone. So in 4 years, Eric Olin will be gone. But let's just hope that maybe some of the guys from UC San Diego travel over to UNM because it's not like we won't have the spots.
That's
So,
right.
all right,
JB,
Manny, what were you drinking?
I, we have been, as you can tell by the empty bottle, we have been enjoying our old fashions, Kirkland brand, classic old fashioned mix, which always goes down neat. It always is an easy drink. It doesn't burn your lips and it doesn't burn on the way down. So I've been drinking an old fashioned, which is always a good drink for me. JB, what were you drinking?
Yeah, I was drinking this lovely Lalo tequila. Um,
Wow.
yeah, everyone thought I was probably drinking water. No, I was not. I was drinking tequila. I like to sip on tequila as well. Um,
Ugh,
yeah,
ugh.
it is incredibly smooth, and this is actually one of my mom's favorite tequilas. So, she introduced it to me last year when I was in New Orleans. So I very much enjoy this. And then I was smoking a tailgate uh, by Karen Berger right here. Pretty decent cigar. I've never had one before. So I had to light it a couple times only because I was talking so much. But yeah, it's a nice stick. Went well with the tequila, I'll say. A lot better than I
You
think a Maduro would have.
You are a brave man. We can have a whole segment discussing whether tequila is a sip drink or a shot drink. But I am not a tequila
It
sipper, but
depends on
kudos
what
to you.
type of tequila you drink. If you drink
No, I know.
like George
That's why I asked.
Floyd's or Dwayne Johnson's tequila, yeah, it's absolute trash. It's garbage. You can tell them I said that to their face. Actually, invite them to my house. I'll tell it to their face that tequila sucks. But the tequila's like Lalo and Tapatio and El Tesoro. There are no additives. This is straight
Yeah,
agave. So it is
yeah.
delicious. There is no after effect when you drink this, unless you drink too much. which if you ask,
Then you'll
do
definitely
that
feel the
quite
after
often.
effect. Like I said, it's a I don't know. Maybe I'm just drinking the wrong tequilas, but clear
You
liquors
are.
is more of a drink it at once. Dark liquors you can enjoy slowly. That is my take on liquor consumption. But we are done. JB, tell everybody where they can get a hold of us, where they can contribute to our podcast.
You can get a hold of full podcast episodes, audio and video on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon, and additional content. BSB Sports 24, TikTok, X, and Instagram. Again, Box Scores and Bourbon. Guys, follow us, leave us comments. Uh, the more you trash us, the more I enjoy it. So if you think you leaving a bad comment is going to get me to back off, it won't. You know, and if you don't know that now, then you surely will find out pretty soon. So I
Yeah.
will dig deeper in my stance. It will happen.
JB hasn't gotten into a comments discussion with anybody in the last week or so, so we need people to come and rip to shreds his takes because he lives for that, and it only gives us fuel on what topics to talk about. With those topics in mind, we will see you on the other side where we would discuss more sports for y'all on Box Scores and Bourbon. Until next time, cheers.
Stay thirsty. That wasn't live, was it?
Yeah, it always
It
goes
was?
live. Yeah.
Okay.